before we start,
Okay.
there is one sentence of Sri Aurobindo in
Huh.
Mother India,
Okay.
which is from the letters on yoga. I
Okay.
would like to read because this is in relation with yesterday's talk of ours of psychic being.
Okay.
It is the individual being that is a portion of the divine. The universal self or Atma, which is the same in all, is not a portion but an aspect of the divine.
Yeah. That's right.
So, what do you mean by aspect of the divine?
Okay. Again, go back to the image of the sea and the wave. Can we say that the wave is the sea? We can't.
No.
The ocean is the divine and the wave is the individual soul. So it's an aspect because each wave will have a different nature and a different aspect. Isn't it? One will be tall, one will be less, one will be moving slowly, one will be moving fast, height will be different, one will have foam on the top, another one will not have foam on the top. So one will have a long length, the other will have a short length. That's
No,
what.
that means the psychic being,
Yeah.
the individual being is the psychic being, correct? Which is a portion of the divine.
That's right. Exactly.
Means the psychic being is a wave.
That's right.
And the Atma is the whole sea, correct?
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Okay.
The self. Yeah.
Okay.
Which can be
Okay.
individual as well as universal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Solved.
Okay. So when you go back to the image of the sea and the wave, it becomes very easy to understand. Okay. Yeah. So can we start the next para?
Yeah, but we have to redo it.
Okay, we'll do that.
We have read it.
You have to read it.
We have to read it.
We have read it. No, Rangata, we have read it. We have read
We
it. We
have
have
to
to redo it.
redo it. We have read
Okay.
it already.
Yes, we have to redo it.
Yeah, we have read it. Correct. It's okay. So let me get the place. My computer is a little slow today, but as soon as I get it, 83, I have to go to 84. Yeah, I've got it. I'm getting it. Takes a little time to scroll. Reality and the cosmic illusion. It's a huge chapter, but remember, the ultimate conclusion is this, that the Mayavadins are wrong to say that the highest is the only reality and the world is an unreality. That is wrong. So Swami is saying it depends on the stage at which you are. You will start seeing different things and you are using different instruments. That's the final. So if you remember the final, that's more than enough. Okay, so I start. So an uncompromising theory. Okay. I'm still not got the. It's coming very slowly. Very slow. Sorry, it's taking a long time. Just 1 minute. But the page is 484 or is it? Yeah, it's 484. So we have read it already? No. Yeah, we have read it. So I have to read each sentence, right? Yes, we have read. Yeah, I've got it. So I'm reading each sentence, all right, and then we'll see. So, an uncompromising theory of illusion solves no problem of our existence. Of our existence. So, what's I'm saying in this phrase? It's not a sentence full. An uncompromising theory of illusion is what? That there is an ultimate reality which is the only reality, and everything below it, when you are in the physical world, is not, it is an illusion, it's a non-existence. This is the uncompromising theory. There is a compromising theory like the Shankaran theory. There is a part reality to the physical world. So uncompromising absolute illusionism, okay, like the Buddhistic philosophy, not Buddhisms, but Buddhistic. There is one aspect of it. Okay, so and uncompromising. There is nothing in the physical world. The only reality is up there. This is the uncompromising theory. And if you have that theory, it solves no problem. Which problem? The problem of our existence. So what is the problem of our existence? The physical world. It remains always an illusion, and you can never have perfection in it. That's the the uncompromising theory says that the world is not even existing, and even if it exists, it can never be the divine. That's the no problem of our existence can be solved. What is the problem of existence? The limitation, the undivine elements in it, the perversion, death, worst of all. Okay, so this is the problem of existence. It cannot be solved. So I'm very saying. So you have to change the uncompromising theory of illusion. Shankara went and said, okay, compromising solution. Sri Aurobindo goes almost up and says, no question of compromising. There is an element of the evolution, and that is slowly going towards perfection. Yes, Sri Aurobindo says, I agree that the physical world is imperfect, but it is not imperfect forever. It is slowly evolving. That is Sri Aurobindo's contention. And we can also hasten that evolution. This is his problem. Okay, I read the next one. I told you purposely the three, then it becomes very clear. No? The first theory, the world is illusion, nothing. Shankara says, no, it is not like that. There is a half reality here, practical reality. And Sri Aurobindo says, behind that practical reality, all the forms that you see, there is the absolute divine also is hiding here. It is hiding, and he is slowly not hiding and revealing himself in little bits and pieces. First he produces life out of matter, then he produces mind out of matter, and now it is up to us to help and bring out the supermind in matter. That's what I'm saying. So I go to the next one. The uncompromising theory. It only cuts the problem out for the individual by showing him a way of exit. Okay? The individual soul is suffering in the physical world. Okay, Mayavada says you want to get rid of your suffering, go to the next country, go to the, don't remain in this country, go to the higher country. There you will get, all your problems will be solved. For the individual, okay, by showing him a way of exit. And what is your exit? Get rid of your identification with body, mind, life, go up there with your soul, and you will see that your problem of suffering is solved. Okay? In its extreme form and effect, its extreme form, which one? Mayavada. The world is unreal in that. In its extreme form and effect, our being and its action become null and without sanction. Why? Because you are not, you are part of the world, and the world doesn't exist according to Mayavada. So you also don't exist. Okay, that's what he's saying. Its action becomes null and without sanction. Its experience, aspiration, endeavor lose their significance. You are saying that I am experiencing pain and suffering, I am aspiring, but all this is non-existence. It's all, you are thinking that it exists, but there is no existence in the extreme form. Okay? Lose their significance. All the one incommunicable, relationless truth accepted, and the turning away to it become equated with illusion of being, are part of a universal illusion and themselves illusions. Everything is illusion except the incommunicable, relationless truth. And what is that? The Brahman consciousness. Incommunicable. You can't communicate it to anybody. It's impossible to express it. It's also relationless. That means it's the only thing that exists. And what is it? It's the truth. The world is a falsehood. Okay? Accepted. Except that everything else is illusion. And the turning away to it, become equated with illusion of being, are part of a universal illusion and themselves illusions. God and ourselves and the universe become myths. Wait, one second. God and ourselves and the universe, so all become myths of Maya. Why? Because there's only one impersonal truth. There is no God. God means personal aspect of the divine is not there. Okay? Only the impersonal aspect is there, and you have to escape into that. So, God, transcendent. Ourselves, the individual. Universe, the cosmic. All the three disappear. Okay? Are becoming myths of Maya in the extreme form of Mayavada. For God is only a reflection of Brahman in Maya. Okay? What you think is only a reflection of Brahman in Maya. You are thinking, you are capable of thinking of God, but it's only a reflection. Okay? Ourselves are only a reflection of Brahman in illusory individuality. Your individuality is illusory. There's a little confusion here between the ego and the individuality. So when you say that you go to the Brahman consciousness, the ego disappears, but the individuality does not. This small distinction is not made by the Mayavadins, whereas the others are stressing this difference between ego and individuality. Because at our level, ego and individuality are confused with each other. But when you go to the supreme level, then you realize that, oh, I was making a mistake. Ego has disappeared. My sense of being, body, mind, life has disappeared, but I am the infinite. That you realize. Okay? The world is only an imposition on the Brahman's incommunicable self-existence. Again, the world is only an imposition on the Brahman's incommunicable existence. This sentence, this phrase rather, if you think of the cinema screen, which is white, which is infinite, and even white is a feature, but that Brahman screen is even not even white. Okay? And the images are being thrown on it, and you are identifying yourself with the images. This is you have to understand it in that way. The world is only an imposition on the Brahman's incommunicable self-existence. When the projector is switched off, what is the projector of the cinema? It's your identification with body, mind, life. All the images disappear. The world disappears. You are left only with that white, not even white, incommunicable, you can't even describe it, indescribable, immutable screen, which is infinite and featureless. That's the Brahman consciousness. But it's the only reality. Okay? Ourselves are only a reflection of Brahman in illusory individuality. The world is only an imposition. Note the word imposition. In Sanskrit they use the word adhyaropa. Adi aropa. It has been put on it. Okay? That's why you think that it is real. Is illusory. The world is only an imposition on the Brahman's incommunicable self-existence. There is a less drastic nullification if a certain reality is admitted for the being, even within the illusion, a certain validity for the experience and knowledge by which we grow into the spirit. Okay, I'll stop here. So, Srimad is saying, the extreme form, no solution. Extreme form of Mayavada, only the Brahman is real, not even God, huh? There is no God even. Brahman consciousness, the infinite, eternal, featureless, immutable, is the only reality. There cannot be any solution to the problem of suffering in the world. Individually you can, but not collectively. At a cosmic level, there is no solution. Individual, yes, he can escape and go away. But now simply saying, let's examine the second theory, that the absolute unreality of the physical world is not admitted. We come back to Shankara's philosophy. Okay? There's a less drastic nullification of a certain reality if a certain reality is admitted for the being even within the illusion. Yes, We are in the physical world, and the world has a certain reality in time and space. Not only that, in substance also, because a shadow is an example. Is a shadow real or unreal? If you say that the shadow is unreal, look, it will disappear, then you are a Mayavadin. But if you say no, the shadow is existing so long as the light that is giving the reflection is there. So you are coming to the Shankaran philosophy. Okay? There is a reality, and that reality is giving a reflection, and that world is nothing but a shadow, a form. It exists temporarily in time and space. So you have changed the definition of truth and existence. There can be a temporal truth and there can be a absolute truth, timeless truth. The timeless truth is what Mayavada is insisting on. Shankara is saying, no, it's not only that. There is a timeless truth, I agree, but there is also a time truth. That's the world. It is a real in time and space. So this is the second level. There is a less drastic nullification. The world is not nullified. If a certain reality is admitted for the being, not full reality, certain reality is admitted for the being, even within the illusion, a certain validity for the experience and knowledge by which we grow into the spirit. So then at that time, aspiration, okay, suffering, all these things have a reality. In the other one, there is no reality to it. But here, there is a reality, a certain validity for the experience and knowledge. The suffering and the aspiration become slightly meaningful. Okay? But still, even if it is meaningful, you are making a distinction. The divine may be here hiding behind the forms, but he cannot be got entirely. So Shankara says, if you want, you have to go up only. Here you cannot get. Even if you get, the imperfection of the world will not disappear. Even if you see the reality and the divine in the world also, even if you do see, the suffering in the world doesn't disappear. That's what said this. Okay, so which we grow into spirit. But this is only if the temporal has a valid reality and the experience in it has a real validity. In that case, what we are in front of is not an illusion taking the unreal for real, but an ignorance apprehending the real. So now if we say that the physical world is real partly, then what is the problem? Why is it being partly? Then he says it's your ignorance. You are looking at it from a wrong instrument. Change the instrument and you will see the reality. That's exactly what he's saying. You remember the image that he started the discussion with in this chapter? There is a percept, there is a perceiver, and there is the the perception, the subject, the object, and the knowledge which links them. So the problem is the knowledge, neither the percept nor the percept and the percipient. Both at extremes, there is no problem with that. The problem is the perception, and that is the ignorance. And that ignorance can become knowledge if your instrumentation goes on improving. That's exactly what he's saying, right? So, in front of us is not an illusion, taking the unreal for real, but an ignorance, misapprehending the real. The world is real, but you are not seeing it in the right way. Okay, it's an ignorance. Otherwise, if the beings of whom Brahman is the self are illusory, its selfhood is not valid. It is part of an illusion. The experience of self is also an illusion. The experience I am that is vitiated. I am that is putting in quotes because of the Upanishadic statement. Okay? Soham asmi, I am that. The individual is nothing but the divine essentially, is vitiated by the ignorant conception, for there is no I, only that. The I that is being spoken of here is the ego. The ego disappears and you become that. Okay? Why that? Because it is indescribable. Is vitiated by the ignorant conception, for there is no I, only that. The experience I am he, soham asmi, okay, is doubly ignorant. If you say I am the divine, there is no divine. Okay, so for it assumes a conscious eternal a Lord of the universe, a cosmic being, but there can be no such thing if there is no reality in the universe. A real solution of existence can only stand upon a truth that accounts for our existence and world. You have to, the solution to the problem of suffering and death in the physical world can be addressed, can be considered only if there is a reality. If there is no reality, where the question doesn't even arise. Okay, that's what he's saying. A real solution of existence can only stand upon a truth that accounts for our existence. We have to account for the existence. We have to say that yes, there is a reality. And not only individual existence, but world existence. Reconciles their truth, the right relation, and the truth of their relation to whatever transcendent reality is the source of everything. So, the Mayavadin and Shankara are admitting that there is a transcendent reality. But then the secondary, the cosmic and the individual, you have to connect them. Then there is a meaning, and that meaning is what Life Divine is all about. Establishing the relation between the highest, the middle, and the lowest. Mayavadin says there is no relation at all. Shankara says there is a partial relation. But Shiva says there is a complete relation. And there is an evolution going from the lower to the higher. But this implies some reality of individual and cosmos, but some true relation of the one existence and all existences of relative experience and of the absolute. There is an absolute. Everybody agrees that there is an absolute, those who have the experience. But their interpretation goes on changing. There are three theories mainly. Buddhistic theory, only that exists, absolute. Shankara, no, there is an absolute, but there is also a relative. But you can't find the divine in the relative, you have to go up to the absolute. Srila says, wait, even in the lowest, divine will be there and he will manifest himself. Never fully, because that will happen only at the latest. But slowly, little by little, he is revealing himself. Okay. The supramental race will be the next step in the revelation of the divine in the physical world. That's what he said. Okay? I hope it is clear. If we have the three steps, it becomes very clear to understand what should be. So we read the next one. The theory of illusion.
Shall I read?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
The theory of illusion cuts the knot of the world problem. It does not disentangle it. It is an escape, not a solution. A flight of the spirit is not a sufficient victory for the being embodied in this world of the becoming. It effects a separation from nature, not a liberation and fulfillment of our nature. This eventual outcome satisfies only one element, sublimates only one impulse of our being. It leaves the rest out in the cold to perish in the twilight of the unreal reality of Maya. As in science or in metaphysical thought, that general and ultimate solution is likely to be the best, which includes an account for all so that each truth of experience takes its place in the whole. That knowledge is likely to be the highest knowledge which illumines, integralizes, harmonizes the significance of all knowledge and accounts for. Finds the basic and, one might almost say, the justifying reason of our ignorance and illusion, while it cures them. This is the supreme experience which gathers together all experience in the truth of a supreme and all reconciling oneness. Illusion unifies by elimination. It deprives all knowledge and experience, except the one supreme merger of reality and significance.
Yeah. In this paragraph, he is discussing the Shankaran philosophy, that the world is half real, practically real, but not absolutely real. The theory of illusion cuts the knot of the problem. He has used the word elsewhere, the Gordian knot. Okay, you remember, I think it is Hercules or Alexander or somebody who had to, the problem of the world, if he had to solve, he has to undo the knot. but not cut it. Now, the undoing of the knot, the rope remains, and there is a continuity between the two ends. But if you cut the knot, then the two ends are separated. Okay, so he uses that in other places. The cutting of the Gordon knot. Okay, here he is using only the word knot, but not Gordon. That is the it's a image in the Greek mythology. I don't remember whether it was Alexander or whether it was what did I say? Ilius. Who was the other person? I've forgotten. Alexander or somebody else. Okay, he had to
Ulysses.
Huh? Huh? Pardon?
Ulysses.
Ulysses. I think that's right. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But that's it.
I think Gordon knot is to do with Ulysses. I think I'm also not.
Yeah, I think it is Ulysses also because Alexander is a historical figure.
Yeah. Yes. That is.
It is Ulysses only because it's an image. So, Sridhar is saying the theory of Mayavada, it is cutting the knot. It is not allowing a connection between the higher and the lower. But it has to be disentangled. That means opened up. The knot has to be opened. So, the theory of evolution is an escape. You are going from one country to another country. And that one country is, according to Shankara, slightly real but imperfect. It's not a solution. Solution for what? It's a solution for the individual, but not for the suffering in the world. Okay, that's important because when Sridhar is stopping and saying only solution, but solution to what and to whom? So it is a solution for the individual because you are getting rid of death, you are getting rid of suffering, you are getting rid of limitation. You are going to the spiritual world and you are perfectly free and calm and quiet and perfectly. You are immortal actually. Okay, so not a solution for the world. Okay, a flight of the spirit is not a sufficient victory for whom? For the being embodied in this world of the becoming. A flight of the spirit, flight of the spirit. Your soul is the spirit, and it is flying away. Flying away from what? From the embodied being. The embodied being is your body, mind, life, and your soul is inside that. In this world of the becoming. The world of the becoming is a physical world. Because the world of the spirit is not a becoming, it's a being, it is static. Okay. It affects a separation from nature. Nature is a cosmos, not a liberation and fulfillment of our nature. It's not a liberation and fulfillment of our nature. What is the fulfillment of our nature? You have three things. You have a body, you have a vital, and you have a mind. So what would be the fulfillment of the nature? Let's start with the mind. It is ignorant. So fulfillment of mind would be remove ignorance and have knowledge. Light, full knowledge, no ignorance at all. That would be the fulfillment. Then what about the vital? It is looking for ananda but indulging only in pleasure. So it has to get rid of all wrong pleasures and get only pure ananda. That would be the fulfillment of the vital. What about the fulfillment of the body? The body fulfillment would be getting rid of disease, getting rid of incapacity, getting rid of limitations. But the most important and fundamental fulfillment for the body will be conquest of death, obviously. And that Sridhar is guaranteeing. It will happen, not to everybody, but to the supermental race. And the supermental race will be on earth, so it will be a solution for this supermental race. So Shankara is giving a solution, but he is giving only an individual solution. Sridhar is going to give a solution for the world, the lowest level. He is going to give a solution. Okay. This eventual outcome satisfies only one element, sublimates only one impulse of our being. It leaves the rest out in the cold to perish in the twilight of an unreal reality of Maya. Look at this sentence very carefully. This eventual outcome. What is the eventual outcome? He is talking of the theory of illusion which admits a certain reality to the world. Okay. So the theory of illusion cuts the knot of the problem. It does not disentangle it. It is an escape, not a solution. A flight of the spirit and the flight of the spirit is the Shankaran philosophy, is not a sufficient victory for the being. It's a victory, but not sufficient victory for the being embodied in the world of the becoming. It affects a separation from nature. Your soul is escaping from your body, mind, life, which is in nature. Separation. You are separating yourself from your body, mind, life. Not a liberation and fulfillment of our nature. Just now we discussed the fulfillment. That does not happen in even the Shankaran philosophy. This eventual outcome, complete satisfaction and fulfillment, no, eventual outcome in Shankaran philosophy satisfies only one element. Which is that one element? Your soul. But your body, mind, life does not get a solution. Sublimates only one impulse of our being. What is that? The aspiration for the divine. That gets sublimated, okay? It leaves the rest. Which is the rest? Your body, mind, life. It leaves the rest out in the cold to perish. Perish where? In the twilight of an unreal reality of Maya. The word twilight suggests that there is a half light here in the physical world, therefore it is Shankaran philosophy. Of the unreal reality, again Shankaran philosophy. Okay? The unreal reality is a second philosophical statement that he is making. Part reality. Now he is saying, as in science, so in metaphysical thought. And what is that? How is science going on? It gets one data and comes to some conclusions. When it gets two data or three data, it changes its theory and becomes slightly better. So which is the theory that will be the best when it accounts for all the data? Okay? That's the best. So that's what Srimji is saying. We apply the same method also in philosophy. Why not account for all the things? The others are not accounting for all the things. They are only accounting for the soul and not the body, mind, life. Okay. So we should take everything into account. Now this is very interesting how science is also going. So we'll just discuss very briefly what Srimji is saying in the center. Look at the weather. Okay. Before we could send satellites into space, we had never any idea of when the storm is going to hit you. Okay. You never didn't know. It will suddenly engulf you. Now we have satellites in the sky. We have more data. We know that 100, 200, 300 miles out in the sea, there is a depression. And the depression is caught by the satellite. Okay. You see that there is movement. So now we know slightly more. So now the weather forecast is going on changing from, but is it only the depression? No. There is a movement of the wind, there is this, there is that. So at present, so far as I know, there are 14 factors which determine the weather. 14 factors which all the meteorological departments in the world, all over, they take 14 factors or so. I mean, I'm saying 14, it may be 15, 16, and as time goes on, they will see that more and more things are there, which is, it's the pressure, it is the wind movement, it is also the atmospheric pressure, how much the sun is warming the sea, all these things, one by one, all these things they have to take into account, and you are becoming more and more perfect in your broadcasting. Okay, so that's exactly what Srimji is saying. Here also, let us consider not only the soul, but why not consider also the body, mind, life? That will be the best theory. So that's what he's saying. The eventual outcome is. No, so as in science, so in metaphysical thought, metaphysical, you can say philosophical, okay? Thought, that general and ultimate solution is likely to be the best, which includes and accounts for all, so that each truth of experience takes its place in the whole. That knowledge is likely to be the highest knowledge, which illumines, integralizes, harmonizes the significance of all knowledge and accounts for, finds the basic, and one might almost say the justifying reason of our ignorance and illusion, and while it cures them. The others are not getting the justifying reason for the illusion and ignorance, while it cures it. This is the supreme experience which gathers together all experience in the truth of a supreme and all reconciling oneness. Illusionism unifies by elimination. It deprives all knowledge and experience except the one supreme merger of reality and significance. In the illusion theory, there is no significance at all in the lower. There is only a supreme merger. What is that? The Brahman consciousness. You go into the infinite, illimitable, featureless, static Brahman consciousness. But Srivendra is going to account for the others also. That's exactly what he's saying. How much time do we have? The time is 27. We have about 10 minutes. We can read the next one. Okay, so.
Shall I read?
Yeah, do that.
That this belief belongs to the domain of the pure reason, and the final test of truth of this order is not reason, but spiritual illumination verified by abiding fact of spirit. A single decisive spiritual experience may undo a whole edifice of reasonings and conclusions erected by the logical intelligence. Here, the theory of illusionism is an occupation of a very solid ground, for although it is in itself no more than a mental formulation, the experience it formulates into a philosophy accompanies a most powerful and apparently final spiritual realization. It comes upon us with a great force of awakening to reality when the thought is still, when the mind withdraws from its constructions, when we pass into a pure selfhood, void of all sense of individuality, empty of all cosmic contents. If the spiritualized mind and looks at an individual and cosmos, they may well seem to it to be an illusion, a scheme of names and figures and movements falsely imposed on the sole reality of the self existent. Or even the sense of self becomes inadequate, both knowledge and ignorance disappear into sheer consciousness, and consciousness is plunged into a trance of pure superconscious existence or even existence and by becoming too limiting a name for that which abides solely forever. There is only a timeless, eternal, a spaceless, infinite, the utterness of absolute unchanged, an overwhelming single objectless ecstasy. There can certainly be no doubt of the validity, complete within itself, of this experience. There can be no denial of the overwhelming, decisive convincingness, ekatma pratyaya saram, with which this realization seizes the consciousness of the spiritual seeker. But still, all spiritual experience is experience of the infinite, and it takes a multitude of directions, some of them, and not this alone, so close to the divine and the absolute, so penetrated with the reality of its presence or with the ineffable peace and power of the liberation from all that is less than it, there that they carry with them this overwhelming sense of finality, complete and decisive. There are 100 ways of approaching the supreme reality, and as is the nature of the way taken, so will be the nature of the ultimate experience by which one passes into that which is ineffable, that of which no report can be given to the mind or expressed by an utterance. All these definitive culminations may be regarded as a penultimate penultimate of the one ultimate. They are steps by which the soul crosses the limits of mind into the absolute. Is then this realization of passing into a pure, immobile self existence, or this nirvana of the individual and the universe, one among these penultimates, or is itself the final and absolute realization which is at the end of every journey and transcendence and eliminates all lesser experience? It claims to stand behind and supersede to subtle and sublet and to eliminate every other knowledge. If that is reality, so then it finally must be accepted as conclusive. But against this pretension, it has been claimed that it is possible to travel beyond by a greater negation or a greater affirmation, to extinguish self in non-being or to pass through the double experience of cosmic consciousness and nirvana of world consciousness in the one existence of to a greater divine union and unity which holds both these realizations in its vast integral reality. It is said that that beyond the duality and the non-duality, there is that in which both are held together and find their truth in a truth which is beyond them, a consummating experience which proceeds by the exceedance and elimination of all other possible but lesser experiences is, as a step towards the absolute admissible, a supreme experience which affirms and includes the truth of all spiritual experience, gives to each its own absolute, integralizes, integralizes all knowledge and experience in a supreme reality. Might be the one step farther that is at a largest, illuminating and transforming truth of all things and highest infinite transcendence. The Brahman, the supreme reality, is that which being known all is known, but in the illusionist solution, it is that which is being known. All becomes unreal and incomprehensible mystery in this other experience. The reality being known all assumes its true significance, its truth to the eternal and absolute.
Very big para, and we will not be able to finish it because only we have 2 minutes left. So I can do one thing. I can read out the summary quickly, and we can do that. And tomorrow is also live divine, so we'll go through each one. It's a very interesting, as usual. So the language we have to pay full attention. Okay, so
Tomorrow is Darshan Day, so we'll have a class.
it depends on all of you. See, you
I
are.
am free. I'm free.
Yeah, you are free. Sunki is free, and
I'm
Archana.
also free.
Last time.
We
Also,
anyway had the class last 17 on 17. That's all.
yeah. We can have the class. We'll have it.
Okay, good.
We'll have it. Because you darshan is a little later, you go a little later on. And it will be recorded also. Those who can't attend also can access it later on. Okay, we'll have it tomorrow. So then I stop now because it's only 1 minute more. I won't even have time to read the full.
Yes, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, so Sunki,
Can I ask a question?
that you can, yes, no problem.
I was just thinking,
Yeah.
what would be the color? Supposing I say that the transcendental plane is white,
Okay.
then the cosmic consciousness or the universe would be what color?
Oh. Oh.
And of course, the individual.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
what colors could depict these three states?
That's,
I have a feeling that the transcendence is white because
It's
it
not-
has everything in it.
okay. See, Yasmin, when you say it is featureless, is not white a feature?
Well, but you know, when you want to put it down on paper
Yeah.
and sort of color it,
Yeah.
then you have to put some color.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Agreed. So you
Cosmic
can say,
consciousness would be what color?
no, that's what I'm saying. That white, okay, the white light, when you put a prism, it breaks up into all colors.
Yeah.
And what is the prism? The prism is the supermind. And what is the world? The world is the Satchidananda, white one Satchidananda, coming through the prism of supermind and becoming all the colors. So in the universe, there are all colors. Okay? And in the individual also, at different levels, all the colors are there, depending on, so each aspect gets a color. But the universe is too large for one color. It becomes all the colors there, because remember, the universe is the multiplicity. So multiplicity means necessarily the many, and the many can't be one. Therefore, there are infinite number of colors in the universe. Okay?
Means the universe is a rainbow.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. In fact, an infinite rainbow. And then we have specific colors for specific things. Okay? For instance, the psychic is a pinkish white, the mind is yellow, The vital is, shades of violet and blue and green. All these things are there. Jealousy can be described usually as green, because even in our English language, you say green with jealousy, okay, or you say red with anger, okay. So all these are realities. They really have colors, and yellow is the color of the mind, okay. And what is the color of Srim's light? It used to be bluish. And what is the color of mother's light? White. And what is the color of the sober mind? It's a golden orange. Okay. So there are colors. But in the universe, all the colors are there, depending at which
Oh.
level you are. Okay, so that's right. There is
Okay.
even a black. The inconscient is a black. No light at all.
Yes, yes.
That's right.
So, like, it would be a black, then the physical is red, then the vital is this greenish, bluish,
That's
then
right.
will be yellow, then it will be pink. Correct?
Pink is a psychic. Okay, it's not the
Yes,
universe.
I know, but each one does have a psychic, and it depends whether it's just a psychic presence or it's a evolved psychic being.
The
But
psychic.
it can be, in essence, everything is there.
That's right. Just like a seed in the beginning may not manifest the color of the flower that is going to show. So, the soul is the seed, and the psychic being is a seed which sprouts out all its capacities. It's a developed soul. So, the psychic only is pinkish white, but it is not the soul, the divine presence maybe doesn't have any color. The divine presence in everything is maybe it is colorless. But the psychic is definitely a pinkish white, rosish. Okay,
Okay, merci beaucoup.
au revoir. See all of you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thank
Rangababa.
you, Rajesh.
Bye.
Thank you, Lord.